Okay, so the other day I noticed I had a problem with my climbing bag and made a mental note. I've got to deal with this when I get home. So now's the time to deal with it. And I thought while I did, why not make a video answering the question, what is in my climbing bag? Now just to preface this, this is my sport climbing bag. This is what I would take with me when I go sport climbing. If I wanted to go trad climbing, I would either take a separate bag with the trad gear if there's another person who could carry that bag, or I would take the trad gear, remove a few items from this, and combine it into one for that. Also, there's no rope in this bag. If I want to carry a rope, I carry that in a separate bag, and I would carry this on my back and the rope bag across my body, or this bag has some straps at the bottom that you would typically use to like carry a like a sleeping pad or something, and I'll attach the rope bag to the bottom using those, and that works pretty well. So let's see what we have in here. First off, we've got a stick clip. This one's made by Clip Up, and it's the one I have, and I like it. It works. Next, in the same little pouch, I've got some bug spray. I've got with and without DEET. Some people like the DEET, some people don't, so I carry both. On this other side, water bottle. It's got some water in it. That takes care of the sides. Let's go for the main pouch here. Helmet. Harness with the personal anchor attached. It just kind of lives on there. And here's the main meat. That's most of the weight of the bag. This is all the quick draws and various other hardware. I've got an ohm in case my belayer's light. Got some alpine draws, some standard draws. I've got 3 different belay / rappel devices. You know, I've got the pinch if you want some brake assist, got an ATC, and I've got a figure 8 if I just need to rappel. And then the rest of this is all just draws. Typically there's some other locking carabiners on here in the mix as well. So there's the hardware. What else we got going on here? So on this pouch, on the zipper pull, I've got some nail clippers. If I get to the crag and I realize my fingernails or my toenails are a little bit longer than I want them to be, I can just take care of that real quick. Got a chalk bag with a brush. Have a second chalk bag. And the reason I have 2, one is if my partner, if I'm climbing with a new person who doesn't have a chalk bag yet, I can just give them the second chalk bag. But also, one of these has a chalk ball, and the other one is just chalk in the bag. So if it's like really, really hot outside, then I'll just go pure chalk. If it's a normal day, if it's cool out, I'll just use the chalk ball, or just depending on what I'm feeling that day. Another thing in the main pouch here that I missed was a rope protector. So if the rope ends up going over an edge, I can put this around the rope and it'll protect it. This one's made by Avant. They make a lot of gear that helps with top rope soloing and just rope soloing in general. And I've seen a lot of their content on YouTube, and that sold me on their stuff. So, all right, that's all for those pouches. So all that's left is this pouch here, where kind of things get a little bit nuts, because this is kind of where I just keep odds and ends. Here's a wrapper from a granola bar that I ate. Here's a Cliff Bar that has yet to be eaten. Here's a wrapper from a Cliff Bar that I did eat. In this upper pouch here, let's see what we got. We have another Avant product. This is a lanyard for when you do top rope soloing. It keeps your device as high as it'll go on the rope. Here's a Prusik cord. or a cord that I use as a prosic for when rappelling or anything like that. Then I've got some crack gloves for when I'm doing crack climbing. Those will protect the backs of my hands. Then I've got some rappel/belay gloves that'll protect the fronts of my hands when you're rappelling or belaying. What else we got here? This is a laser pointer. I decided to throw this in there because I don't know how many times I've been trying to get somebody to figure out where a hold is, and I'm trying to describe it and they're just not getting it. So if you can just grab this, like when you're belaying, you know, you got your right hand on the brake hand and your left hand can do whatever. You just reach down into the pack and pull this out and be like, the hold is right there. Anyway, so that's a thing. What else we got? First aid kit, obviously. That's something you're going to want. Let's see. Belay glasses. Yeah, these... If you don't know what these are, these have prisms. So when you put these on your face, they redirect your vision basically straight up. So you don't have to strain your neck looking up at the person you're belaying all the time. So you can just look straight forward, and then you'll still be able to see the belayer. So that's a good thing. Here's a map from a climbing area. Maybe North Table Mountain Park. I don't know. That's just in there. Probably need to get rid of that. We got a headlamp for obviously climbing at night. Let's see. Are the batteries good? Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. We have a second headlamp. Ooh, that one's a lot brighter. So once again, I just kind of get in the habit of bringing two of everything. Oftentimes if you're climbing and it starts to get dark, your partner might not have thought to bring a headlamp, so there's two there. Another Cliff Bar. And then down here we've got some sunscreen, a little thing of sunscreen, and some ibuprofen, because you're not going to believe this, but sometimes you get hurt while you're climbing. Oh, there's still a few more things in here. This I thought was cool. I saw this on Amazon and I was like, I need that in my pack. It's just a little guide for how to climb a lot of the standard knots that climbers use. And it's like, the thing about this, the reason I have this is because there are probably maybe 3 knots that I use on a regular basis. Obviously the figure 8. I'll tie a bowline pretty often. And maybe a clove hitch, right? But there's a lot of other knots that are very useful, like the alpine butterfly, or a munter hitch, or a water, like, I guess I tie a water knot all the time. Anyway, but there's a lot of knots that are useful. And if you don't tie them regularly, you can forget exactly how to do them. So this is just so nice to, just in case, like, wait, how do I tie an alpine butterfly? And it's got a little guide that tells you exactly how to do it, so you don't have to worry about screwing it up. And there's no shame in just pulling it out and saying, hey, let me make sure I get this knot right. Because, you know, the number one thing you don't want to do is tie the knot wrong and end up dying like an idiot because your knot came undone. All right, that's it. That's what I keep in my pack. So pretty much everything is there for a reason at this point. The thing that I wanted to fix was this is basically empty at this point. This thing leaked. It like came open and it got gunk all over one of my headlamps, and it was on some other things, and I wiped it off best I could while I was out there, but I wanted to clean everything off real good when I got home. But I guess it's all just kind of dried up at this point, so it's not like gooey anymore. So it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, but this was still fun just to see what what we're working with here. And that's all I got for you today. Talk to you later. Bye.